Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Welcome to an all-new Build Out live stream. You can join the stream every Wednesday at noon Eastern Daylight Time. The stream will be starting in just 1 minute. In the meantime, let me take this opportunity to talk about the graphic design platform that I use to create the social media graphics, overlays, and studio graphics for the Build Out series. Canva is both an online platform for your desktop and laptop, and also offers an app for smartphones and tablets. With the Canva graphic design platform, you can easily create social media, presentations, posters, documents, and other visual and video content. While there is a free version, Canva is best when using the affordable Canva Pro subscription and Canva Enterprise. So if you want to build out your social media and visual content, you need to use Canva. I'll make it easy for you to sign up. Just use the referral link provided on this stream's event post or in the video description with this stream's recorded posted to my YouTube channel. Okay, now let's get this Build Out live stream started. On today's Build Out, my guest is Sarge Summers, who's the founder and president emeritus of Oilfield Connections International. Today, Sarge and I will talk about Oilfield Connections International and the oil and gas industry. Okay, let's get to today's broadcast. Hey, welcome to Build Out. I'm really excited to have my guest today, Sarge Summers. Sarge, welcome.
Thank you, James. I appreciate the opportunity to spend some time with you today.
Excellent. Hey, where are you at right now?
You know, I'm on Highway 128 between Jal, New Mexico and Andrews, New Mexico. I'm heading over. I pulled over so we could do this interview. I've seen millions of dollars fly by just in the last 30 minutes. Oil field equipment and stuff like that on a 2-lane blacktop, believe it or not. And so I'm out here in the middle of the oil patch.
Very good, very good. You've been quite the road warrior here the last number of weeks and probably really the last number of months.
Yeah, I'm often referred to as the ultimate road warrior.
So you must be burning a lot of that oil and gas to be able to get around from town to town, event to event, huh?
Hey, I want to do everything I can to help our economy, you know, whatever we can do. Hey, and before we get too far into this interview, I just want to thank you, James. I want to thank you for everything that you do for our industry. You do it. You don't do it halfway. You're first class, top notch all the way. And I appreciate you. You're an icon. You're one of my heroes. I don't have very many heroes, but you're one of them. So thank you for the privilege and the opportunity of spending time with you on this interview today.
Thank you, Sarge. You don't know, that means so much. I was following you because of your Sargeisms. And then when Oilfield Connections International started, that's when you and I really started having a stronger connection. And it's good to see Raquel Packett says, "Good morning, Sarge."
Hey, good morning, Raquel. Good to see you. I know she's in Pennsylvania, her and her husband. And man, I tell you what, she's part of Oilfield Connections International. What a wonderful lady. Thanks for coming on, Raquel.
Yeah, definitely. And with you and I, we've had a connection for a number of years, and we finally got an opportunity. I think it was about a year ago right now, where you came into Pittsburgh with an Oilfield Connections meeting for the Pittsburgh area or tri-state area. And so it was great to be able to have that physical connection with you, obviously during the height, we'd call it kind of the height of the pandemic and everything like that. Right. But it's great see. Yeah, it's great to see the events that are going on nationally. OCCI, let's talk about a little bit about OCCI. OCCI, is it 26 or 27 chapters now?
We're up to about 28. We're getting ready to add one in Hobbs, New Mexico, one in Greeley, Colorado. It looks like we'll have a couple up in Canada. We're talking to some folks in Mexico. I think we'll be at 40 by the end of the year.
Yeah, and a number of those are international too. So, if anyone are viewing this that are an international and you're in the oil and gas industry or you support it or service it, this is an opportunity for you to talk to Sarge and maybe look to get a chapter started in your region, your area. So When it comes to the OCI, what was the catalyst? What inspired you to start OCI?
Well, I've been in the industry for 30 years, and I had a 21-year career in the Army before that, served in 4 combat units, 9 years in Germany. But when I got into oil and gas, I started out in the above ground storage tanks, and ASTs is what we call them. I call them MITBs. That's money in the bank. But when I got started in the industry, I just started making a lot of connections. And then when LinkedIn came around, I jumped on LinkedIn, and now I'm pushing 26,000 connections. And I thought, it's great to have all these connections and everything, but what good is it if you don't do something with those connections? So I wanted to start tying those connections together. And so the thought that I had back in December of 18 was, let's get together. Let's just start with one group. And I didn't know if it would ever be more than one group. And we started with 11 people at the Cracker Barrel in Midland, Texas, which is in the Permian Basin. And so that first month we had 11. We used to meet every other month. Now we meet every month. And like I said, we have 28 chapters. We also, as you mentioned, international. We have one in Trinidad and one in Peru, South America. But it's just absolutely took off, and it's pure networking. We believe the things that we believe in are networking, mentoring, and community service. And over the last 34 months, and now 10,000 plus members, community service, I guess, means more to me than anything, because we've been able to do a lot of things and give back to the communities where we live, work, and play.
So who are the typical members for any particular professions or cross industries?
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. It is kind of cross industries. A lot of folks from the energy industry, but more exclusively the oil and gas industry. I'll tell you what's really cool. We have people from all walks of life. We have folks that are geologists and geoscientists, geophysicists. We have engineers, obviously, from all the different disciplines. We have housewives. We have men that work as pumpers in the oil field. That guy that just drove by in that 18-wheeler, he could be a member. We tell people this. We try to keep it real simple, because I'm a simple man with a simple plan. And so we just tell everybody, hey, if you've ever put cosmetics on your face, or you've ever put fuel in a vehicle, you're part of the oil and gas industry, and you're welcome as a member of Oilfield Connections International, OCCI.
Yeah, that's an important perspective to think about when we look at, oil, petroleum. So much is involved in our daily lives. Right. You can look around you. So many things are made out of petroleum products. And for, those out there saying that, we need to get off of oil and petroleum products, it's virtually impossible to do that. How much of an impact when it comes to the connections aspect and networking has OCCI, in your opinion, how much of an impact has OCCI had over the last, let's say 2 years?
I think we've had a very significant impact, and I don't know that I see everything. I try to keep my finger on the pulse, not just with OCCI, but with the oil and gas industry. And I can tell you that with some of the guest speakers that we've had the president of P66 Pipeline, Todd Denton, come and speak for us. He did a wonderful job. We've had 2 of the 3 railroad commissioners come and speak for us. We've had several U.S. congressmen and a lot of other different people from the industry. And OCCI has really gotten out there. We have a lot of people that contact us and ask us our opinions on things. And so we're making a difference in the oil patch. And we're making a significant difference in the industries that we live, work, and play in. And I get calls from people in the federal government, and I'm not going to get off in politics and stuff, but I get calls from different folks asking different questions. I get invitations to go and do different things. Recently, I had the privilege and the honor of introducing Senator Ted Cruz at a dinner down in Odessa, Midland, Odessa, and that was really special. He was there to pay respect to our first responders, typically our firemen and our police and our EMTs and so on and so forth. And I got to introduce him. And then also I got to introduce a Faith, Family, and Freedom rally in Lubbock, Texas. I got to introduce one of the 3 guys that they made the book and wrote the movie about for Benghazi. And so we're getting to meet a lot of folks. on a personal basis, I'm going to get into politics. That's a story for another day. But yeah, I think we're making an impact. I think we're making a significant contribution to the oil and gas industry.
So, think of back when that first meeting was held, and I believe it was held during the winter time, if I remember. Was there some bad weather with that meeting?
That meeting was in January of 2019. It was at the Cracker Barrel in Midland, Texas. And again, we had 11 individuals show up.
Think of where OCI is today. Did you ever think that it was going to blow up like that in a good way?
No, it's been amazing. And people mention that to me. And I said, no, in my little peanut brain, I could have never imagined that where it would have gone. I had a guy ask me on a golf course one time, and he was one of our OCI members, one of our leadership team members. And he asked me, he said, what's the exit strategy? And we're a brand new organization. He's asking me, what's the exit strategy? And I said, there is no exit strategy. I hope that this goes on and on and on forever and ever, and that we're always an integral part of what's going on in the oil and gas industry. So I can't even today begin to tell you the difference that we've made in so many people's lives. And I want to insert something right here, James. I'm a member of all of these other organizations: Oilfield Christian Fellowship, Oilfield Helping Hands, the Pipeliners. I'm a member of all of these different organizations. And the one thing that I want our viewers to know today and to understand is that we're not in competition with one another. We are not in competition. If we start getting in competition with each other, it defeats the purpose, because we're out here, to help the people in the oil and gas industry. And so we need to work together. We need to lock arms, and we need to do everything that we can to make their lives better. Because I'm telling you, these are the hardest working people in the world. And I can say that after 21 years in the Army, I can say that the folks that work in the oil and gas industry, they don't come any better than these people right here.
I so agree with that. And OCI and obviously the other organizations working together are going to really benefit the industry. But let's talk about, currently where we're at when it comes to oil and gas. Just before the stream, you had a convoy literally go past you of some, real big assets going in. So obviously there is a lot going on in the oil and gas industry. But we have a lot of, obviously, the news, and we have a lot of, those out there that are trying to really kind of make changes, let's say, that kind of suppress the oil and gas industry. Where are we at right now with the oil and gas industry here domestically in the States?
Yeah, we have to do a lot of public relations type work, and sometimes we're not real good at that. We take a lot of abuse. There are a lot of programs on TV and different things that happen in different political persuasions. And so it's rough. I think right now, if I'm not mistaken, we're about $83 a barrel, roughly, West Texas Intermediate, WTI. And that's a good number. That's a good number for us. I'll tell you a funny story. My wife and I, Sandy, we moved from Midland, Texas, there in the Permian Basin, to Nashville, Tennessee on August the 23rd, 2003. And oil had gotten down to $11 a barrel. And so they basically stopped drilling. You can't afford to take oil out of the ground $11 a barrel and refine it, So anyway, I told my friends, I said, listen, don't worry about it. I said, one day you'll see oil get back to $40 a barrel. And that was the magic number. You wanted to get back to $40 a barrel so it could be profitable, and anyway, it went to $149 a barrel. At that time, after a short time, it dropped back to 100, and it stayed at 100 for a long time, and then it dropped down to about 26, and we went into another downturn. And I've been in 4 downturns in the 30 years that I've been out here, and it's never any fun. And what I like to say to the young people, and let me just say it right now to them, let me address the young people that work in our industry. When you're out here and you're making the big money and you're buying all the toys and stuff, be smart about it. Be smart about it, because I've seen so many of you that when we go into these downturns, everything goes back to the bank, whether it's a house, a motor home, the motorcycles, the toys. Don't do that. Don't do that. Make sure that you're putting some money away for a rainy day, because again, we don't know how long it's going to be or how severe it's going to be. So put some money back for a rainy day.
Yeah, it seems like in the oil and gas industry, that boom and bust cycle seems to be, relatively consistent. And to your point, I remember back, we're talking about obviously the ability here domestically in the States to produce our own energy and be energy independent, which we are, if you think about
We
it.
are. We are.
I remember back in the 70s when we had the OPEC crisis and we were doing odd and even, depending on your license plate numbers, where you could get gas or not get gas. And we were literally hostage to international oil for energy. And, today with the fracking, with, the gas reserves that we're finding, the technologies are going into really extracting this energy, it's much more safe. And it's also a lot more, we can go for a lot more than we couldn't before. It gives us a lot of capabilities. So, you're seeing a lot of the technology. And Sarge, you've been in the industry. What are some of the things you think that are coming down the pike here when it comes to technologies, when it comes to exploration, extraction, and then also processing?
Yeah, that's a great question. There are so much that's being built out right now, stuff that's being put together. I mean, even today, the things that we have in the oil and gas industry and the drilling and the pads and the way that they're doing everything, with the geologist. And I mean, it's just amazing. It just boggles the mind when you consider where we've come since 1901, when they had the big deal there in Beaumont, Texas. And we have just come so far in the last 100 years. It's amazing. I'm not sure what all is in the planning stages, but I can tell you this: there are people a whole lot smarter than me that are working on stuff right now that's going to continue to make it safer, continue to make it better, more productive, and a better performance. And so there's some really good stuff coming down the pipeline, and every pun intended there, by the way, coming down the pipeline. And so it's going to be great to see them roll out this new stuff. I spent 21 years working for the Department of Defense and the Army, and it was cool to always see all of the new armaments and all the different new stuff that was coming out. But there's a parallelism there between the military and the oil and gas industry, because they're constantly trying to make things better, make our lives better performance, like I mentioned. And so it's going to be exciting to see what's going to be coming out.
Oh, very good, very good. Earlier you were talking, and you and I have talked about this. This is probably your 40th podcast, webcast, or interview that you've done in front of cameras. How are you holding up when it comes to all the questions and the interviews?
I love it. As a kid, I grew up in a family of 16, and when I got into junior high and high school, the classes that I excelled in were like speech, drama, and debate, and golf. I was on the golf team. And but I'm that kid that I'm that guy rather that walks into a meeting room looking for the microphone. I want to be the guy on the microphone, and not so that people look at me, because I never want to be placed on a pedestal or anything like that. As a matter of fact, I refuse to go there. But I do believe that with the amount of hours that I put in studying the resources and just keeping my finger on the pulse, I want to be the guy sharing the information. I want to be the guy, because when I walk into a room and there's a speaker there, I want to know what their credentials are. I want to know why I should be listening to that individual. And so I try to keep myself prepared at all times. And these podcasts, I'm very selective on whose podcast I will do. You've interviewed me. I think this is my third or fourth time with you. And I tell you, I just love your format. I love the way that you do this, and you're constantly changing things. You're constantly improving things. And the way that you're doing it now with the live broadcast, I think it's excellent. I got to be careful, though, because we don't get to edit anything out. So I got to be real careful what I say. And I've had a lot of people, James, ask me why I don't have my own podcast, or why I'm not the host or a co-host of a podcast. And there's just not enough hours in the day right now. I'll be 69 in December. I don't plan to work but about another 30 years. And so I love this industry. And the reason that I started OCCI, back to your question earlier, I started OCCI because I wanted to give something back to the communities. I wanted to give something back to the industry that's done so much for my family and I. I would stop in Midland, Texas, and visit with my friend who was the mayor at that time, Jerry Morales. And I'd say, Jerry, I want to give something back to Midland. I want to give something back to this community. And I racked my brain trying to figure out what that might be. And what that actually became was Oilfield Connections International.
Yeah, and not only gave back to that community, but many, many more communities and more to come. So earlier, one of the viewers, Caballero, had asked the question of, how do you become a member of OCI?
That's a great question. I always love to field that question. It's real simple. All you have to do is go to our website, oilfieldconnections.net. And when you get there, it'll talk about membership. We have 3 levels of membership. One level is where you pay nothing. And we did that because there are a lot of people that were between jobs. I don't like the word unemployment, but they were between jobs. And so we wanted to make sure that everybody that wanted to could become a member of Oilfield Connections International. The next level is a individual membership. It's only
Yeah, we'll see if we can catch up. There you go. You're back again. Oh. So while Sarge is catching up, if you go to the oilfieldconnections.net website, you can take a look at membership. Also, too, there's a listing of scheduled events that are upcoming.
Customers, it could be family members, all the above. And so it's just real simple. So just go online there at oilfieldconnections.net, go to the membership tab, click on that, and then just follow the prompts.
Yeah, and also, too, on the site, there's a calendar of upcoming events. And then also, too, ways there's a directory. There's a way to connect with other members. Once you're a member, you can connect and network with other members. And I had the opportunity to attend the Pittsburgh chapter, let's say the Tri-State chapter, and it was amazing. Sarge came and spoke at the event. There were some speakers talk about fundraising activities that were going on. And it was also a great opportunity for me to network with a lot of other individuals, and some of them, in the line of business I'm in, I want to have a relationship with them. So again, this Oilfield Connections can be across multiple disciplines, multiple industries, just because the oil and gas industry, so many people touch that industry. So it sounds like he can't hear at this point in time. Let's see here. Carl Davenport, shortage outage. Okay, due to a pipeline shutdown. Oh, yeah, cybersecurity. Sarge, are you able to hear me still? Can you hear me, Sarge? Maybe not. Yeah, he's out in the oil field, so the signal's not the best. So, but Carl, what I would say about with the cybersecurity, the thing with it is, if you remember with the Colonial Pipeline, at the beginning of it, they did not tell the public that they had actually paid the ransom. And it turned out when they paid the ransom, from what I understand, they got some of the codes to kind of break it, but then they still had to go back and reset their whole network. And that caused obviously a long delay. So, when you're dealing with these cybersecurity issues, we have to harden that whole network when it comes to pipelines and pretty much all different industries. So let's see if we can get Sarge. Sarge, you there? We can hear you. Can you hear us, Sarge? I'll mute him up here for a second. Sarge, you there? So while we're waiting for Sarge, let's do this. Let's talk about next week's guest. So my guest next week is going to be Lee Wilson. We're going to be talking about skilled trade careers, and that's going to be next Wednesday, October 27th at noon Eastern Daylight Time. Lee will be joining us from the UK, and it's going to be a great conversation on an important topic right now. Sarge, you still there? I think we lost him. Okay, so Sarge, this is the beautiful thing about live streaming and live broadcasting. In real life, and we lost him, unfortunately. So, everyone, I appreciate this opportunity to obviously have a conversation with Sarge Summers, an opportunity for you to participate as well. Great comments, great questions, and looking forward and see everyone next Wednesday at noon Eastern Daylight Time. Also, too, I with a lot of requests, also doing broadcasts on Monday evenings and Thursday evenings around 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's an opportunity to get additional information. So I appreciate it for everybody to check in, look forward to posts and things like that. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any recommendations for guests or topics. And we'll see everybody next week.